Hello, family, friends, and fellow sojourners. I just wanted to tell you another one of God's many miracles. And this has to do with someone that I met at our garage sale about mid-80s, I would say. They came to our garage sale. We were trying to raise money, kind of struggling financially at the time. And this family came to our garage sale, and they wanted to buy our set of bunk beds, but they didn't have enough money. They told us the story about her husband was going to get on with the highway patrol in California, and we were in Colorado Springs at the time. They lived in the Springs, and they'd travel on the northeast corner of Colorado Springs to come to our garage sale. And they were getting ready to leave, but they had limited funds. And I told them, well, I don't necessarily do this all the time, but I feel a peace about it. I mean, we talked enough, and I said that I was Christian, and they said they were Christian. And so I thought, well, I tell you what, you come back and pick up these beds, take them to California, and when you get the money, you can mail the money to us, even in payments if you need to. And they thought that was wonderful. And the very next day they came and took the bunk beds, the frame and everything away, and moved to California. And sure enough, I think they made 2 different payments. They sent us the money and they were paid in full. And I thought I'd never see them again. They were in California, we were in Colorado. But the child that I told you about when I talked about the key miraculously being in my sister's pocket when we were locked out of my friend's car, I said we were going to get a baby from prison ministries for 2 months. And we had that child, we got him in 1988, so it was about 3 or 4 years after we'd sold these bunk beds to these people. And we found out that we had been lied to and that we were going to wind up having him longer. She kept telling us that it was going to be next month. She was going to get released next month. And about 5 months into our having him, we found out that we needed to move down to Canyon City, where the women's prison was, and make sure that our little boy that we were taking care of, his name was Ryan, get him down there so that we could see her more often, because we didn't want him not to know who she was when she got out of prison and was going to take him. So we moved down to Canyon City, rented a house, and this was in 1988, summer of 1988, and about a block away from a church, I guess, that we were, the house that we were renting was about a block and a half away from a church that I started attending. And this woman, welcomed me into her church, and we began to talk, and her voice seemed so familiar to me. I didn't recognize the name, and not necessarily the face, but her voice. She had a very unusual voice, just seemed very familiar. And after we had been talking for about a month and a half, we started kind of investigating how we might have known each other. And I told her we were from Colorado Springs. She said, well, they used to live in Colorado Springs, but they had moved to California so that her husband could be a highway patrolman. And the light came on, and I recognized that this was the family that had bought our bunk beds in Colorado Springs. So it was another one of God's many miracles. The fact that he brought us together at a very important time, because when we moved, we'd been living in our home for nearly 20 years in Colorado Springs, or maybe it was only 10 years. I don't know. We bought our home in 1978, so it was 10 years later. We thought, well, we don't know anybody in Canyon City, so it was delightful that we met someone, the family that we had met 8 years prior. And, you know, very excited to see her again. And we got very close. And she told me that she'd been a Christian her whole life. And I told her that I got saved back in 1977. And one of the things that she told me was she kept saying, or she said that I kept saying, the Lord spoke to me and told me this and that. And she said, I've been a Christian my whole life, was raised in a Christian home, and I've never heard God speak. And I felt that was tragic. I thought, how sad that you've never heard his voice. And then it also gave me pause to think that maybe not everybody heard God's voice, that I just took it for granted that everybody had that same relationship with him. But in my next blog, I will explain why the Lord brought us together and what happened. So anyway, just a little short story about this very miraculous situation, and what are the chances of my meeting someone that I hadn't seen for years, that had moved in the same community, going to the same church that I started attending when I was in a foreign land, basically. So anyway, God bless you. I hope you are looking forward to the new year and that you are blessed. If you like this story, please comment and give me some idea as to how it is impacting your life. So anyway, God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.